Okay, this is cs952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design. So we have created a development web page, dev. And if we want to see what this page looks like on a web browser, we can go down here to this little globe. It says Preview/Debug in Browser. It's one of my favorite buttons in Dreamweaver. Preview in Google Chrome, F12. If I select that, it now opens this page up in an actual web browser, and we can see how this page would work in a web browser. We can see we've got our menus there. You know something that I forgot to do that's kind of exciting? You can actually change these to have these colored as well. If we go back here to our Bootstrap color page, okay, there's a little option here to colorize the drop down. If we look at the drop down, it looks like that. What if I wanted that to be colorized? If you click on that check mark, now you can see this is colorized as well. Okay, so I decided, hey, I like that better. Now how do I update my web page? Just go back, we're going to copy this CSS again. Scroll down here. Right click and choose copy. We're going to go back to Dreamweaver. I'm going to select my nav.css file. Right here it is. If I want to see only my nav.css code, I just go to Code View. So I'm going to hit Control A, or we're going to edit and hit Select All, Control A. And I'm just going to delete what's there. Now if I do that, and we go back to Split View, you can see that my navigation bar went back to the plain old way it looked before. So I'm going to go back to Code View, and I'm going to paste in that code that I just copied from the web page. Now let's go back to Split View, and we can see we've got our navigation bar again. I'm going to hit F12, which is the shortcut to preview in a web browser. It says some files needed to accurately preview this page have been modified but not saved. They're talking about this navigation.css file. It's got that asterisk next to it which tells us it has unsaved changes. Let's say yes. And now, if I look over here under my drop-down menu, you can see that these are colored as well. I kind of like that look. So this is what my web page looks like so far. This is what we've got. We've got our footer, we've got our navigation, and we're going to put all of our main content here for each page. What I want to do is I want to take what we've done so far and save it as a template. And that template we can use to create page after page after page, and it's one of the most powerful features of Dreamweaver. So let's go back to Dreamweaver. And it's a little bit of a trick to get from having a regular HTML file and turning that into a template. So what I want to do is I want to go to Design View. And let's just go to Design View only. We don't really need Split View. Just Design View only. There we go. Okay. So I'm in Design View, and I'm looking at my dev.html file. And I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to choose Save as Template. And right now it says dev. Okay? Well, I don't want two files named dev because that might be confusing. So I'm going to call it template. T-E-M-P-L-A-T-E. It's a good name for it. And I'm going to say save. And then Dreamweaver says, do you want to update the links? Very important whenever you're asked this question to say yes. Okay? And I'm just going to close my template file for now. If we look, we get this little warning about editable regions, and that's fine. If we go over look here under Files, we can see we have a new folder was created for us, and the folder is called Templates. And if we open that up, we can see there's our file, template.dwt. Now notice it's template.dwt. We've never talked about a .dwt file. We've talked about CSS files, cascading style sheets. We've talked about HTML, hypertext markup language. But we've never talked about a DWT file. So this is a file that's only used by Dreamweaver. We can preview this as a web page on our local web browser, but if you actually uploaded this to the web and tried to open it up online on a web browser, wouldn't work because it's not a regular web page file. This is a special file created by Dreamweaver. It's a template file. So let's open up our template file. And there's one thing that we absolutely have to add to our template file, And those are editable regions. Remember we got that warning about editable regions? So the idea, as you may have learned from reviewing the free PDFs from the publisher, a template file has regions that are locked, meaning they cannot be changed, and then you insert regions that are called editable regions, which are going to be placeholders for where you're going to put in specific content for each page. So the idea is this: you've created your website, you've got 100 pages on your website. You decide to change something in the header of the website, or you decide to add a map to the footer of the website. You don't want to have to do that for all 100 pages. So you just make a change to your template file. When you update your template file, Dreamweaver will automatically update all of the 100 pages that were created from your template file. So you have regions that are locked, meaning that when you go to, say, edit the content for the frequently asked questions page or for the contact page, you can't change the header or the footer. You can only change the information that's about frequently asked questions or about the contact page. When you want to change everything on your website, if you want to make a change that's going to be reflected on every page on your website, then you're going to be working with the template file. So that's the key difference between a template file and a regular web page that's created from the template file. So we need to define an editable region. So I've got my template.dwt file open, and I'm going to go to my code view because I think this is probably the easiest place to do it. So we're going to have to do a little work here in code view. I'm going to scroll down, and here we have section. Now I want to put my editable region inside of the section, because remember we said that the section is the thing that's kind of the middle part of the website. It's the main part that holds the content that's unique for each page. So I'm going to highlight this text that says content for new section tag goes here. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm just going to delete it because we don't want that. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an editable region. So I do that by going insert. We do this from template, and we choose editable region. So let's click on editable region. And then Dreamweaver wants to know what's the name of this editable region. So I'm going to call it main and then content, and I'm going to hit OK. Alrighty. So we get this little placeholder text that says main content, and that's fine. This is going to help us identify where our main content will be. Now I'm going to add in one more editable region since we're here, and it's going to be a editable region for JavaScript. We're not going to be adding any JavaScript right this minute, but we will be, as we get into the more advanced parts of the class, adding in some additional JavaScript. So this next part it's real important that you do this in the right place, because it's possible to delete some really critical important code that you need for your website to work. So follow along very closely. And after our footer, this is the footer, line 74 right now on my site. This is our opening and closing footer tag. And then we have a script tag, and then we have another script tag. And then we have our closing body tag. Remember, these were when we were looking at the in our document object model, in our DOM panel, these were our two script tags we were looking at. We're going to add some more code after that last script tag. You need to absolutely make certain that you do not delete either of these two script tags. The first one loads jQuery, and the second one loads JavaScript needed for the Bootstrap website. So it's super important that you go after the script tag, but before the closing body tag. So I've got my cursor right after this last script tag, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit enter again just to give myself a little bit of space. And now I'm going to add in another editable region. So again, we're going to go to insert, and we're going to go to template, and we're going to add a editable region, and I'm going to call this editable region add script. It's one word. This is called snake typing, where we use lower and uppercase letters. There's no space there. Add script, and I'm going to say OK. And when we do that, we get this beginning and ending editable region marker, and there it says add script. Well, this part that says add script, we can delete that part. That's going to show up as meaningless text. So we just want to delete that, because what we're actually going to be adding here is JavaScript later on. So I'm just going to hit the delete key and delete that out. Now I'm going to put my cursor right after that word, right after that closing script tag and before this beginning editable region, and I'm going to hit enter a couple times. And I'm just doing this just to give myself some space. This is only being done for my benefit. I'm going to add in a comment. Remember, you learned about comments in Module 2. Comments are web code that don't function, they don't do anything, but they're there to help us remember what we're doing. So I'm going to type in the arrow that points to the left and the exclamation point and then 2 dashes. Now as soon as I do that, you can see that some code got grayed out, and that's because comments always deactivate any code that's inside of them. And I'm going to type add additional page specific script. And then I'm going to type another 2 dashes and then a right arrow. And you'll notice as soon as I do that, that this other line of code will turn back to being green again. Okay, so this is just a note to myself that this is the place on the page where I'm going to add in some specific script that's just for one particular page. So when we add in a audio player, I want to add in some additional JavaScript, but I don't want to add it to my whole site, just to that one additional page. So again, it's real important that you make sure you add this after the script sources that you have. The first one is for jQuery, the second one is for Bootstrap. Then you can delete the little placeholder text that said add script. So this is exactly what you should have, a comment line that says add additional, I misspelled the word page, add additional page specific script. And then Dreamweaver added those 2 lines for you that says template begin editable and then template end editable. Okay, we're good. So we're going to hit save all, and then this wraps up this module. Next week, when we get into the next module, you will actually start to create the pages for your website, your home page, a gallery page. But this is going to wrap it up for this module for this week. I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh on this, and I'm good to go. I can close this, and I'm ready to quit Dreamweaver. We're going to do that by choosing exit, and I'll see you next week.